Hello YouTube, this is Dakota from Bowtied Media, and after years of complaining about the Grammys, they're kind of back, and kind of great. Yes, we're a little late to this, but the 67th, I believe, annual Grammy Awards, the 2025 Grammy Awards have come and gone, and I think as a holistic show, it was the best it's been in a long time, and I've been watching the Grammys ever since I can remember. With this being a show/award ceremony going on recently in LA with all the fires that had just happened, there was lots of talk about the fires. They had a bunch of firemen and firewomen come out and do the final award at the very, very end for Album of the Year. They had donation calls the whole time for fire relief. They did a ton of stuff, a bunch of commercials. If you went over your allotted time, you would donate. I think for every second was like $1,000 to fire relief. And so in that sense, I think it was pretty great. I think they did it pretty tastefully. I'm a person that is, Bill Burr talked about this a lot as a comedian, that when you go to these like award shows and kind of like sports programs, you don't want to hear about all the tragedy. You kind of go to escape that stuff. And so I kind of get that, maybe less so with Grammys, more so for sports. But I don't personally love a ton that's a lot of these philanthropic things, but I guess it makes sense for LA in this time, and I think they did it very tastefully, and I think it was done well and executed well. And so in that sense, big ups for the Grammys. As a show flow, I think this is the best it had been in a while as well. They had historically done these in the past where they did this like announcing each of like I think it's like 9 essentially Album of the Year nominees as the show went on, which just made it feel like it was really long and there wasn't a ton of time for other awards or stuff like that and other moments. And I just think the way that they did the whole process this year front to back felt more efficient. It probably is the same amount of time, but it just felt like a good mix of nominations and like a little bit of again, fire relief stuff, and then talking about the nominees, and then talking about the winners and the announcements. Like it all flowed pretty well. So much so that there was lots of times where I was like, oh dang, like we're getting to the end now, and I didn't actually feel like it's been that long. Furthermore, I think the performances this year were pretty fantastic. I think they did a good job of balancing a bunch of different genres and styles and tones. And also, as well as their kind of whatever medley type thing where they had all of the breakout artists of the year or new artists of the year have their own songs, I think was incredible. That was fantastic. I would love to see them do that every year. Like that is a great way to, you're already giving these people a platform that are nominated for the like best new artist, and to have them all do their one big hit of the year, because often it's one big hit, to have them all do their like big hits of the year back to back to back to back is like, no, like this is great. Like you give a great kind of indicator of who the next kind of comeuppance of these award winners or award nominees are going to be for years to come. And so it's an acknowledgement of honoring those that are obviously going to get their awards today, but also this moment, this pocket of time, this like 20-ish minutes of, hey, this is the kind of future of the industry, whether it's good or bad. But I love that. And the big thing I want to talk about is the awards. Like they kind of got it right this year, honestly. Like as much flack as I give, and I still would give the Grammys for not recognizing other artists and or stuff that's a little bit more niche out there. And so I get that to some extent, and I still do feel that it feels very political time and time again. But this year it felt like they kind of hit everything on the nose and everything felt pretty right. I was actually doing live predictions, and my family can back me up on this. For every category that I was least like confident in, I wasn't really voting for like the country album. I didn't really know what was going to win, that kind of stuff. But every stuff that I at least felt like I had a dog in the race, or I would give like a legitimate prediction on, I was only wrong on one thing the whole night, and I pretty much guessed every category and ended up being right. And my predictions did change a little bit from my early predictions video to where the Grammys ended up being. But I pretty much got everything right on the nose, not gonna lie. But yeah, let's look through these real quick, these major categories, and see essentially what got voted on and talk about them real quick. So record of the year, Not Like Us, Kendrick Lamar. Absolutely. This was absolutely the record of the year. This beef with Drake was the real biggest thing that happened in the music industry this year. Overshone, I should say, a lot of actual albums. Like, I think this kind of like the Beyonce album, which we'll talk about in a second, like this whole beef with Drake kind of like took all of that Beyonce album cycle stuff and just kind of put it on the back burner because this was what was new and was trending, and both Drake and Kendrick dropped some good songs, and Not Like Us was just the culmination of it all into one fabulous finale. And so I think Not Like Us absolutely deserved Record of the Year. And then, yes, Album of the Year, Cowboy Carter with Beyonce. I will say, as someone that doesn't like country music, and I would actually say I hate country music, this was a great album. This was a fantastic album, and I do think it deserved to be Album of the Year. There's obviously a ton of love for Beyonce, and the fact that Beyonce has now gone back-to-back with an EDM-style album and then this country album, and I don't even know what's going to come next, what other style she can do, but the fact that she can do all these different styles and to like such perfection just goes to show that often it's really just about the artist and the producers and the vision behind music rather than the genre that they reside in. And so this was a great indication to me personally that it doesn't matter who really, or it doesn't matter what genre you're doing. It's about who it is and what they're singing and what they're trying to convey, because Cowboy Carter was fantastic. And there was a ton of country music that came out this year. I didn't obviously listen to most of it, but I heard lots of really negative reviews from stuff, and a lot of country fans that also were like, this is a bad year for like pop country. So the fact that Beyonce could come in here and be like, hey, no, country is taking off and country can be good. Yeah, I think it deserved it. And then Song of the Year, Not Like Us. Again, Kendrick Lamar. This one makes sense. Kendrick Lamar swept all, I believe, 4 or 5 categories that he won or he was nominated for, and won because his album G-Next was not nominated for this category yet. It'll be in next year's cycle. But yes, Not Like Us absolutely swept through everything, and like I said before, deserves to be Song of the Year. Best New Artist in Chappell Roan. Yes, absolutely. When I think of all of these artists, I think other than maybe Sabrina Carpenter and Doechii, it had to be Chappell Roan. Chappell Roan this is one that I don't think really was political. I really do think Chappell Roan is one of the better artists of this whole list here. And I wouldn't say it's political at all, because I think Chappell Roan is quite, I wouldn't say counter to the Grammy stuff, but definitely like her acceptance speech was pretty much calling out their record labels and stuff. And you don't typically want that. And so if the Grammys didn't want that, they wouldn't have had her win if it really is so political like that. And so I think this was actually a good step forward for the Grammys in terms of being like, hey, we've been political in the past, and things have been like, felt like they're a little bit so-so in how things were awarded. But the fact also that they even stated, they're like, of 13,000 people or whatever it was that voted each year, which is, I love that they said that each time. Chappell Roan, I think, is the best indicator of where the trends are as best new artists and where things are going. So Chappell Roan has tons of range and dynamicism, and again, I think she should have won. We're going to look at some speed fire ones here. Best pop solo performance, Espresso, Sabrina Carpenter. Yes, heck yes. As much as I love Charlie in terms of just pop stuff, Espresso absolutely ran through this year, and it absolutely should have won. Best pop duo group, yes, Die With A Smile, Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. Best one on this list by far. I mean, Guess is on here, and Guess is one of my favorite songs of the year, but I just know Charlie doesn't have as much of the Grammy support as I maybe would have liked her to have. But I also loved this Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars song, and so this one, again, way to go. Pop vocal album went to Short and Sweet, Sabrina Carpenter. This is one that I probably disagreed with the most. I think that one should have gone to Hit Me Hard and Soft by Billie Eilish. I think Espresso very much dominated as singles, and I think Sabrina Carpenter's singles did really, really well, like Please, Please, Please and Espresso. But I think holistically as a record, Billie Eilish should have won this one. Best Dance Electronic Recording, Never Ender, Justice and Tame Impala. Hell yes. I loved that this one won. This was one of my favorite songs of the year. I think this was fantastic. Way to go. Good pick. Should have won. Best Dance Pop Recording, yes, Von Dutch, Charlie XCX, the more poppy side of dance. Absolutely, again, Von Dutch, Charlie XCX should have won something. She's a Grammy Award winner now, and this absolutely blew all these ones out of the water, I think, for sure. Another just great pick. And then the last category I want to talk about is, yes, Best Dance Electronic Album, more dance-focused, is, yes, very much Brat, Charlie XCX, should have won. And it did win, and I was so thankful for that, because as much as I loved Talos or 3 or Hyperdrama or Timeless, it absolutely had to go to Charlie XCX and Brat. It took over the year, and it had to be. So yeah, Grammys, I think, did a great job as a show, as a ceremony, as an honorary, like honoring who had passed this past year, and sort of helping relief and honor those that were serving with the fires and donating to those. I think the Grammys really did a good job. I don't know if they hired a new person to direct these shows or a new CEO. I don't know what it is. Even the fact that they had The Weeknd perform after The Weeknd, the current, I think, CEO who took over from, I think 2020 now, said that like The Weeknd called us out and said this was the, and then to have him announce The Weeknd after just goes to show that like the Grammys are, they're hearing feedback and they want to make the award show something that people want to tune into, especially because cable stuff is dying. Cable television is dying. And so if they want the award shows to be still a prominent part of culture, they need them to do well. They need people to enjoy them, and they need the awards to not be so political, and they need them to be, I should say, the right picks, not as many people upset with them. Obviously, there's going to be people upset on every side of fandoms, but I think if you're looking at it pretty objectively, the Grammys kind of knocked it out of the park this year. But I'm curious to know what you guys think about the Grammys. Did you watch? Did you care about this? Did you think something should have won over something else? I'm curious to hear what you have to say in the comment section below. But other than that, I'm Dakota from Bowtied Media, and I'll see you guys in another video.